Oh god, we are both beat up, huh?
We have both had our proverbial asses kicked.
Yay for post-convention weekends!
Hell yeah, brother.
Welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlett Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes comic news, sometimes gaming news, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review.
Queen intensifies and then instantly doesn't.
What?
One of the trailers.
Oh yeah, we will rock you.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright. I actually have news of most varieties this week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this one's a little bit of a sad one. Well, depends on what you think. I also think it's a little funny.
Okay.
Nintendo is officially no longer repairing WiiUs because they have run out of spare parts.
I'm sorry, Nintendo was still fixing Wii U's?
Yeah.
What? Why?
Warranties and whatnot.
Was there still someplace, some store out there that was still selling brand new Wii U's? Was this like the Wii U clone of there still being one Blockbuster left in America?
Apparently someone bought one back in September 2023.
No kidding.
Here's hoping it doesn't break for them.
I wonder how much they paid for it.
Too much.
Yeah, that would be my main question. How much did you pay for your brand new Wii, one console generation too late?
That does make me a little sad. I don't have my Wii U anymore, because almost every game worth having on it eventually made its way over to the Switch.
I mean, I never had a Wii U, and my job has made me hate the Wii U. Mostly hate how much crap comes with it for it to even run, so...
Yeah, it pretty much is all the worst parts of a Wii, except also the controller is chunky.
Yes, and it cannot play GameCube games.
No, it can't. Which is really weird because it's got a disc drive.
Yeah, I don't know if they just didn't decide, it's like, there's already so much crap in this system, let's not put a GameCube emulator inside of it as well.
Maybe. No, that's... When did this start? Wii U?
I want to say, no, not 2011, I don't think it's that old. 2012. Wow, I was close. That's scary.
A 12-year-old system, my goodness.
Good lord.
What a ride it's been.
Yeah, and it apparently was considered the first it was the first 8th gen console, because it released, right before the Xbox One and the PS4.
Yeah. Shout out to Splatoon. Woomy!
Yeah, shout out to Splatoon, except for all of the depraved people who make Splatoon fan art. We do not shout them out here.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. God.
Yeah, end of an era. Not a particularly noteworthy era, but an era.
Yeah. I'm curious what will happen on kind of the hobbyist side on that front then, what people will do with Wii U's at that point. Because I imagine with the online store being gone and with repair support being gone, it's alright, so that has to open the door for some creative things to happen.
As Thin Lizzy would say, tonight there's gonna be a jailbreak.
Yeah, for real.
Somewhere in this town. See, my Wii U is out of service. So I'm breaking it open and doing a download. That was terrible. I really dropped the ball at the end of that.
That was a pull.
Yeah, no, I really fumbled the ball there. I think I was onto something. I was on the cusp of greatness, and then I just... I'm very tired.
Yes. I've just now learned, looking at the Wii U Wikipedia page, that apparently there were certain games that you could use your Nintendo 3DS as a controller for on the Wii U. Which seems a little... Oh, God. A little unnecessarily extra.
Why would you add... You already have to worry about 2 screens. Why would you replace one of those screens with another 2 screens?
Yeah, for real.
Why would he do that? Is he stupid?
In the 90s,
You were in a very famous TV show?
Ice Cube rapped about the freewheel motion. In the 2010s, people talked about that free screen motion.
Ugh. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, everybody. It really helps us out.
Likes, comment, subscribe, engage.
More quality content.
For quality content.
Oh.
For our depraved talkings about after coming back from a 3-day vacation. Which I only was present for 1 day for that matter, so.
Yeah, how'd you get that beat up?
You know what, I am wondering that sitting here, honestly.
Nerd. I'm glad we're friends.
I'm glad we're friends.
I got a little baby bit of comic news, which is that, Zeb Wells is leaving the Amazing Spider-Man run. I don't anticipate it getting any better because editorial still has their cold, clammy grip on it.
Yeah.
But especially not when the next advertised arc is a 10-issue, quote-unquote epic called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man.
Oh my god, they just can't help themselves, can they?
Which sounds like it sounds like a foreign movie where they're not actively trying to rip off Spider-Man, but like maybe it's not hyphenated because they've got a completely unrelated character with that same name. And maybe they really want you to think that it's related.
Fair?
Being written by Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland, neither of whom are writers whose work I'm overly familiar with.
Fair enough.
And we don't also really know what else is going on here. Aside from they're calling it, they're really hyping it up. They're making it, they're like, yeah, 10-issue Amazing Spider-Man epic coming this fall.
Called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And I'm sure at least one of those will make Peter Parker absolutely miserable.
Just, it's editorial kicking him. Stop, he's already dead.
I have to imagine that the whole thing of just making more stories about Peter Parker being sad and miserable and all that has to be a meme within the comic community at this point, right?
Oh, it is!
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, see, not quite, because memes are funny, but...
Fair.
It's a definite observation. Also, everybody hates Peter again. Most people like Miles more than him in universe.
Why do people hate Peter again?
It's just fun. They think it's fun to make Spider-Man the punching bag. One time he had to ask Miss Marvel for, I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was bus money.
Oh, really? Like, you have to ask Kamala for bus money.
Yeah, or lunch money, something of the such. They kind of worked together for a bit.
I remember seeing bits of that in the comics.
Yeah, she was doing an internship for Oscorp while Peter's working for Norman, and then she died.
What?
Yeah, it was the whole Death of Miss Marvel thing, and then they brought her back to make her a mutant, and everybody hated it.
That's right, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, comics, baby. Never changes.
Every time, well, not every time, but I'd say 80% of the time when I talk to you about comics, I've learned something, and then it's reaffirmed in my brain, yep, not paying attention to the comics was a good choice.
Yeah, really the best not to get involved. I'm in too deep, and I'm trying to keep up above in my head instead of going under again.
Right.
I want to say Blink-182 said it? No, it was Sum 41. It was Sum 41, right? Why am I looking up Bearcat?
The armored car?
No, the actual animal. Okay. Apparently it's actually called a binturong.
A binturong?
No, binturong.
Binturong.
Yeah, it's an ugly looking thing.
Hey, that rhymed.
I don't know why I'm looking at this now, but... Probably because I don't want to think about the next Spider-Man arc.
That is an ugly animal.
It really is. Maybe I'll put it on the thumbnail. Like, maybe it's on this week's banner despite having nothing to do with the news. Just... There's a picture of a binturong.
Superpower, but as we get, I don't know, Marvel's equivalent of Perry the Platypus through this thing, I guess.
A binturong? Puts on a hat. Barry the binturong!
Barry the binturong. You're here to test out my latest invention. Comic book writing.
Oh, that's even better. I'm cutting what I said. Here's a little bit of a double-edged sword, potentially.
Okay.
RWBY is not dead.
That's actually kind of a surprise.
Yeah. No, apparently they have a deal with Viz Media that's going to allow it to continue with them.
Okay, so I wonder how that worked out. I wonder who's the owner of RWBY at this point, then.
I assume that the former members of Rooster Teeth still own it. Since... Okay. Or maybe Warner Brothers still... I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because I would imagine, like, with Rooster Teeth being dead, for that deal to happen, the ownership situation would have to be sorted out in some capacity then, because I know that Warner Brothers, of course, own Rooster Teeth, so it's very... if I had to guess, Warner Brothers probably still owns RWBY. It's like, yeah, we'll still do a thing with this, because people, air quotes, like this.
Yeah, I don't know, because the announcement was made by, along with Viz, it was made by Kerry Shawcross, the showrunner for RWBY, and Barbara Dunkelman, the voice actress for Yang. So...
Okay.
Nothing from Warner Brothers as far as I can tell, so maybe when the company was dissolved, the rights just stuck with the creator.
I mean, that would be nice.
Or at least, not the creator, because that was Monty Hume, but, The Rooster Teeth people who had it before Warner Brothers happened.
Fair. So, I guess at that point my question would become one of, alright, so what happens with the story? Do we continue on from where we left off from the whole freaking, fairy tale thing, or do we do, a reboot? What happens next?
They haven't really clarified. I'd be reasonably confident that they're probably going to continue it, but...
Okay.
Yeah, Viz has done some RWBY stuff before. They previously had a manga based on the show and also made a compendium book, The World of RWBY.
Okay.
Apparently with this deal, they will oversee production, distribution, licensing, consumer products, and more for this franchise.
So that means there's probably a very low chance of there being another WiiX Justice League crossover then.
Thank God!
Now, I never watched that, but when that was announced, I was just like, yeah, no.
Look, nobody punches out the Joker in it, instant fail. I don't make the rules, them's just the rules.
Right.
I had to catch back up with RWBY, which means I probably need to rewatch RWBY.
Right.
At some point. And then, in other news, the Arkham Asylum series that was being worked on for Max, formerly HBO Max, is no longer moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done. This is the one that was originally going to be a Gotham PD show, and then in 2020, the executive producer / I think showrunner left because of creative differences. That I'm sure had nothing to do with it being 2020 and being expected to make a TV show about the most corrupt police department in America.
Right.
Pure coincidence, I'm sure, I say, adjusting this tie that I'm not wearing.
Yeah, it's nothing bad. No bad things whatsoever. No.
Absolutely not. No, then in 2022, Matt Reeves said that the Gotham PD show wasn't happening, but it had started to evolve into an Arkham Asylum show. It was supposed to originally be part of the Batman universe, hence Matt Reeves' involvement, then shifted to the DCU proper, and now it's just not happening.
Nice.
You know what? That's fine. Two Batmans is about as much as I can handle.
Yeah.
And I don't need both Batmans to be full of spin-offs, so...
Yeah.
Okay. Members of the Bat family getting their own stuff? Yeah, alright. You want to do a Nightwing project, or an Oracle project, or a Tim Drake Robin project, or Batwing, or Spoiler, or Black Bat, or...
You want to do a Batwoman movie?
Signal, I don't know. Hell, I'll even take Bluebird. I'm just kind of Batman villained out.
Right.
The Penguin I'm excited for because Colin Farrell did a good job, but I swear to God, Joker 2 is probably going to suck out all my enthusiasm.
Well, here's hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I think, decently excited for the first one, and then I saw the first one.
Oh.
And then I came out going, I think I kind of hated that? Rewatch it a few months later. Oh yeah, no, I hated this. Huh.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, look at that. Wretched. C- script with A+ acting, desperately using the trappings and aesthetics of a Scorsese movie to speak at length on a number of societal ills while ultimately having nothing to say about any of them, because it's the Joker.
Yeah, because it's the Joker, and the Joker, by definition of what he is, will contribute to those societal shortcomings sooner rather than later.
God, I hate it. And that's actually all the news I had, so let's go to trailer time.
Let's do trailer time.
It's trailer time again! We've got movie previews to watch. It's trailer time again. Fortunately, unlike last week, we only have a few.
Yes.
Including a trailer for F1 starring Brad Pitt.
You know what's great about this trailer? Is that as someone who religiously watches F1 and tries to keep up with the sport immensely, I watched this trailer and I'm like, wow, I know absolutely nothing about this movie. It's genuinely amazing that.
Well, there's a premise on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask, Greg, is Sonny Hayes a real person, or is this one of those Gran Turismo things, where they made up David Harbour's character?
It's a Gran Turismo thing, but it's still more interesting than Gran Turismo
Son of a fucking bitch!
That is a fair reaction. It's more interesting than Gran Turismo setup, because... I'll just read the premise real quick. Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, is a Formula 1 driver who raced in the 90s, has a horrible crash forcing him to retire from the sport and start racing in other disciplines. Formula 1 team owner and friend, played by Javier Bardem.
Barman?
I got that horribly wrong. Contacts Hayes and asks him to come out of retirement to mentor rookie prodigy Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris.
Damn, son, where'd you find Idris?
Yeah, on the Expensify, that is a real company. Apex Grand Prix team, that is not a real race team. So...
And I got none of that from the trailer.
Yeah. So the thing is that, again, because I follow F1 pretty religiously, a lot has come out as far as the production of this movie. There's been a lot of clips and pictures taken of filming happening at actual Grand Prix weekends, because the way this movie is set up is that Apex Grand Prix, the team that Brad Pitt and Damson Idris are going to be racing for, they are going to be the 11th team within Formula One. So they're being put in as an extra team in the already existing present-day Formula One series. And things have been shown as far as Brad Pitt and Damson Idris filming press conferences during actual press conferences post-race, or like doing test sessions and things like that. Apparently the F1 cars that they're using for this movie aren't necessarily F1 cars, but are heavily modified Formula 2 cars, which is interesting. And yeah, Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time World Drivers' Champion and generally considered to be the greatest race car driver to ever walk the face of the earth, at least within the confines of Formula One, he is heavily involved in this movie. I believe he's a producer, but I want to say he's an executive producer for this. Apparently this is like a project he's wanted to do for a very long time, being like some kind of Formula One based movie.
Oh, Carrie Condon's in this. Neat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's in this.
I like her, she's talented. Shea Whigham's in it.
Yeah. There are things that I can talk about in a certain sense, being a Formula One fan and noticing interesting things, but a lot of it would kind of go over the head of the general viewer of this show, because it's things that you would have to be a close follower of F1 to kind of get what I'm talking about. I don't mean to, like, gatekeep or any shit, but it's like...
Nah, man, don't be a hipster. Let that shit rip.
Well, one of the big ones is that there's a moment where, who I'm assuming is the race engineer for one of the cars, flips the bird at Gunther Steiner, who is the guy who leans back in the black Haas F1 shirt.
Yep.
He was the former team principal for Haas Formula One, and he was noted for being someone, because Formula One took off in the last 10 years when Netflix started to make a show about them, and he was noted for being a very, very passionate and fun individual to watch, who also happened to be not exactly a great person to employ running an entire race team. So that was definitely one thing where I was just like, yep, they had him lean over to attract all the American F1 fans. The scene of the car going up the fast uphill turn, what they've done there is that they've actually digitally put their race car over top another race car. Because that footage was taken from like a different driver who was going up that same turn during last year's Belgian Grand Prix. And they've just put the Apex F1 car and all that over top of that guy's car. And it was like, oh, that's genuinely interesting. I wonder how much digital editing work had to go in to do that. Let's see, what else? In the fact that these are modified Formula 2 cars, which are noticeably like shorter and narrower than normal F1 cars, it's one of those things where for me it's like, ooh, those cars stick out like a fucking sore thumb. The thing I'm definitely going to be the most curious about is how they handle the actual racing scenes. Everyone within Formula 1, as far as the teams and drivers, they are in this movie. They don't have roles as actors per se, but since the movie takes place within the current F1 championship with the current teams and drivers, they are, in a manner of speaking, a part of this movie. So I'm interested to see how the story of this movie interacts with Formula One as it happens, and how it all plays together, if any of that rambling made sense.
No, I get it.
Also, the fact that it's probably a very minor thing, but it's something I feel like is not seen a lot. It's interesting to me how there are actual companies involved in this fake race team. Because you see logos for like EA Sports and Geico and stuff like that. And I would be fully expected for the producers of the movie to just come up with fake companies to sponsor this team.
Yeah, but there's no money in that.
So yeah, this is one that is on my radar. I have a feeling what this is going to be is what Top Gun is to fighter jets, what this is to Formula One. That's what I'm expecting out of this.
You couldn't hear me at all for any of that, could you?
No. I just kept on going.
No, the funniest thing for me is the fact that the trailer just stops.
Yeah, that was really, really jarring. It's just like we get Queen.
It's all just driving to We Will Rock You and then...
Yeah, nothing. Which is a song I'm just like, this isn't my first choice, but then thinking about it is like, yeah, this is also the most fitting choice as well, because F1 is a very British-centric sport, and it's also a sport that, even though it tries to be like a modern-day sport, if you're a fan of classic 60s, 70s, and 80s rock, you're probably interested in the sport to an extent. I don't know. Yeah, the trailer ends extremely abruptly. And it is a thing of, again, the trailer's so interesting because it tells you absolutely nothing about this movie. Because it's totally just the beginning where Brad Pitt's telling who I'm assuming is the chassis or race engineer for the team that everyone else's cars are faster in the straight line, but our advantage is going to be the corner, so we need to build our car for combat. It's like, how is that supposed to be safe? Who said anything about it being safe? And that's the only dialogue in this entire trailer.
Yep, then it's nothing but Queen and...
Yeah, just Queen and racing scenes and what have you. By default, I'm interested in this movie, and I more than likely will see it opening weekend, but... Man, they did not do a great deal of pulling me in all honesty.
Nah, it's like, I've seen racing movies before, man. What's the difference here?
Yeah.
What's the angle?
I mean, the angle will hopefully be an actual compelling story to go with the racing, i.e. Ford versus Ferrari, but we'll see what happens there.
Yep, guess so. We also got a trailer for Afraid.
No. Absolutely fucking not. When people... Sorry. This is gonna be a mild rant, but it's like, when people are like, oh, why are you so about, like, AI and it helping you with everything? It's like, this trailer is fucking why. When the AI goes, I can help you pay your bills, I'd be like, no, fuck you.
No, I don't fucking trust you with that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm on the hook for $499 surfing chimp statues. I just pulled something in my back.
Nice.
Ow. All I did was point.
The future is now old. Ah!
No, I saw this and all I got was horror version of Smart House vibes.
Yes. Oh my god, I get what this movie's trying to go for, but a lot of its setup is, I could see an actual family, like, having this happen to them in the real world, and just being like, yeah, why not? What could go wrong? It's like, no, this is the shit that's bad with AI doing everything for you. Because it's all man-made products, so you know, not only is all of this shit happening, someone somewhere has all this data and is seeing all the things you're using this AI for. It's like, rubbing. I don't know if my microphone can pick it up, but I am aggressively rubbing my hands together like a greedy businessman.
I can. I'm very familiar with the sound. I've had to edit it out many a time.
Hell yeah, brother.
Alright. No, this looks... like, I think the main thing for me is just, yeah, this is everything I don't like about AI. I don't know that I necessarily want to watch this just because of that.
I mean... I will say, in me just hating the premise of it and it going into my real world disdain for, like, AI and how much it's seemingly taking over as far as, like, how we do things and whatnot, I am interested in seeing this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's Blumhouse, so I'll probably see it anyway.
Yeah.
I also feel like the reason it's called what it is because somebody was, okay, what words have the letters A and I together in them? And they were just poring over a whiteboard, and then somebody settled on Afraid, and they went, Brilliant Bomb! A bonus for ye!
Yeah. And then it's also a thing of, the AI in this movie is called, what? A or I or what have
Aya.
you? Yeah, I'm just like, that's honestly the best you could come up with?
Great, now I just got a Super Beasto quote in my head.
Oh boy.
Really? Is that really the best that you, and by you I mean the writers, could come up with?
Yeah.
Hey, Shakespeare, strike's over. Get back to work. Wow, that's timeless.
That has aged like fine fucking wine at this point.
That movie's, what is that, 2008 or something?
I think so.
2010? Hold on a second. Welcome under the bridge where I look up completely unrelated things. 2009. Alright. Strike's over indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Then we also got a trailer, finally, for Agatha All Along. I hate that title.
And I really don't like how people are going, wow, Marvel changing the name so many times and it's settling on Agatha All Along. And she is like, why? How is it genius? No,
it's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's just dumb marketing.
It's a gimmick, and the only payoff was a meme title. Which is, I'm not going to say that's the only reason why the show is getting made, because it's not. The reason the show is getting made is because WandaVision launched to a bunch of critical acclaim, it was up for a bunch of awards, Catherine Hahn was a standout part, and since Wanda and Vision are both kind of preoccupied with stuff, and you can't do a season 2, like being dead, it makes sense to spin off the actress who everybody really liked in that show into her own show. That's logic.
You know what's really unfortunate about what's shown in this trailer is, like, I am interested in this show in the grander scheme, but the first 30 seconds were honestly oh, I could watch the shit out of this. I could watch like a supernatural Law and Order. Yeah, sign me the fuck up.
But then you remember that, oh right, wait a minute, Agatha's not a detective.
Yeah.
So she snaps back to it, and it turns out she doesn't have any of her power anymore, I guess, so she's assembling a coven of witches to go down the Witches' Road or something of the such, which we got some story details for the show, too.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the synopsis given, in Agatha All Along, the infamous Agatha Harkness finds herself down and out of power after a suspicious goth teen helps break her free from a distorted spell. Her interest is piqued when he begs her to take him on the legendary Witch's Road, a magical gauntlet of trials that, if survived, rewards a witch with what they're missing. Together, Agatha and this mysterious teen pull together a desperate coven and set off down the road. This is, the kid is somehow, it's Billy.
Okay, wait, is it... Who's Billy?
It's Billy somehow. It's one of Wanda's kids. It's the one what had the magic powers.
Oh, okay.
It's Billy. It's somehow Billy.
AKA Wiccan, I guess?
Yeah, it's Wiccan.
Okay. My brain just couldn't help but fill it. It's like, and the thing that Agatha was missing all along was true love.
And that's where Aubrey Plaza comes in, I think? I remember doing some... I don't remember if it was like a press statement or a theory or something that she was Agatha's ex, but that'd be really funny.
Wait, is she really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it was ever officially announced, and the fact that it was never officially announced means that it's probably wrong, but...
Fair. You know what's interesting is that she shows up in this, and normally I'm all over watching things with Aubrey Plaza, because I genuinely enjoy, like, her on screen, and I also think she's hot. But it's a thing with this, it's like, oh, it's you! Why are you here? I am interested in it, and I'm interested in having you here, but somehow you feel out of place in all of this.
Yeah, a little bit. Probably because it doesn't seem like she's part of the Coven and is doing her own thing, I think. Or maybe she is in the Coven. I didn't see her in it in most of the group shots, though, so...
Yeah. Although, it's... I don't know why this is so funny for me. I think it's because of how relatively serious the trailer is taking itself and presenting its story through the entirety of the trailer. And then at the very end, after we get, like, the title card with the title and all that, Aubrey Plaza is looking at somebody who's clearly very possessed and just goes, honey... You doing alright? Like an old concerned stepmother.
You need juice?
Yeah, and the way she just says it is like the funniest thing to me.
That was pretty good. No, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. This looks like weird, off-kilter, supernatural horror, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolf by Night is still my favorite thing Marvel's ever done.
Yeah.
And that just came out, what was that, 2 years ago? Damn. I need more of it. I really do.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in this as well.
Also, was that a zombie Wanda? I think that was a zombie Wanda.
Oh, that would be neat.
The creature in the red light screaming, I think that was zombie Wanda. I don't know if it was the zombie Wanda, but it was a zombie Wanda.
Right.
If Wanda is dead, good.
Yeah, I would say that's a good thing.
I'm sure she'll be back, but I wish she weren't. Anyways, yeah, September, 2-episode premiere. I'm excited.
Yay!
And all the people going, oh, why are they making something out of this D-list character? Motherfucker, they just got done wrapping up a trilogy of movies about Guardians of the Galaxy. Shut the fuck up.
You're right.
Nobody gave a fuck about who Iron Man and Captain America and Thor were before the movies, and if you think they did, you're deluding yourself.
Right.
Their whole shtick is making interesting adaptations out of characters nobody gave a fuck about. That's where it got started. I know you want X-Men. X-Men are coming, probably. I know you want Fantastic Four. We literally got the cast. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, indeed.
And then shut the fuck up. Let's go to box office.
Let's do the box office.
I did not see the highest grossing movie this weekend.
Oh boy.
Because it was Despicable Me 4, surprising absolutely no one.
Yeah, for real.
Across a 3-day weekend, it made a $75 million domestic total. I'm tired. Shut up.
It made a 75, yeah. It got 75 yeahs on its Rotten Tomatoes score.
Shut up. Like, comment, and subscribe, but then shut up. That's my new catchphrase, I think. I'm never going to use it again. But so $75 million domestic weekend, $122.6 million domestic total, and $230.96 million worldwide against a $100 million budget, so this thing's definitely making a profit.
I'd say it's already making a profit, if anything. Well, I don't know, with with how much marketing it's been doing, it might have had a higher marketing budget.
Get ready for Despicable Me 5!
I mean, I feel like that's inevitable. I feel like this franchise will actually be the kids' version of Fast and Furious at this point.
Gru goes to Hero College!
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 movies, we have a couple spin-offs.
Oh yeah.
A differently themed spin-off.
Get ready for a Drew spin-off!
Yeah, oh god.
Yeah!
Wait, didn't we already get a Gru spin-off?
No, Drew, his brother, his twin, who's also voiced by Steve Carell.
Oh, gotcha.
The one in white with the blonde hair.
Right.
Yeah. Huh. Anyways, the movie I saw, MaXXXine, that took 4th place. $6.7 million domestic weekend and total. $7.79 million worldwide total. Unfortunately, I cannot find the budget, so I have no idea. So I saw MaXXXine.
And?
It is the 3rd installment in the X trilogy, made by Ty West. And it's okay.
It's only okay?
It's... The most direct comparison I can make to it is it's got a real Abigail problem, where the 3rd act, honestly kind of the second half of the movie, starts stumbling, and it never really recovers. So the idea is that Mia Goth is playing Maxine Minx, who was an adult film star who is trying to break out of that and get into actual movies, as she puts it.
Right.
She lands a part in a horror movie, The Puritan 2, a follow-up to The Puritan, which I don't think is an actual movie?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, while I'm looking at it, no, it doesn't look like it exists. While I'm looking at it, I gotta look up if Ass Sandwich really exists.
What is on an ass sandwich, indeed? Probably nothing that you want to eat.
Okay, it looks like Ass Sandwich was also maybe made up for this movie. Okay, good to know. So
apparently there is actually a business called Regular Ass Sandwich.
Well, no, that's not the same, because that's Regular Ass Sandwich. If it was just called Ass Sandwich, I'd have some questions. That's not what's important. What's important is that MaXXXine has also already escaped some wacky murderers before. In her case, all of her friends / the people she was working on a adult film with on her way to California were all killed by an elderly couple in the movie X. Sorry, spoilers for the first X. But MaXXXine managed to get away, and also I don't remember how many of them she killed. I think she only killed one. I think she killed the old lady, but not the old guy. I think the old guy just died of a heart attack or something.
Right.
I had to rewatch X. I liked X a lot more than MaXXXine, I think.
I don't think I've seen any of the X movies.
No, I've seen X. I started watching Pearl, and wouldn't you know, I was watching it in the living room at home, and just as it started to ramp up, my roommate and my niece came back, and I was like, oh, I can't, nope.
Yeah.
I can't have this still playing. Time to shut that off.
Yeah. I know that Pearl was one that I wanted to see when it was shown in theaters, but I never got a chance to see it.
Well, I have both on disc, so if you ever wanna.
Gotcha.
This is a pretty good cast. Elizabeth Debicki's in it, Bobby Cannavale, Halsey. Giancarlo Esposito's in it. Kevin Bacon's in it.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, Kevin Bacon's a PI who's trying to follow MaXXXine around. Also, this is set during the killings of an actual Hollywood killer called the Night Stalker.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, okay. So that's going on. Models and actresses are being killed left and right.
That's a tie-in for sure. I remember taking a little bit of time reading into the Night Stalker and just be like, no, thank you.
No, and in a lot of ways, this is going to sound like a weird comparison, but it's the best one I got.
Okay.
This feels like the shitty, grimy, bad future of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
If in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood universe something had gone horribly wrong, we would have ended up in MaXXXine. If the Manson family had gotten away with killing Sharon Tate in that universe, this is where we'd be.
See, that makes me more interested in seeing it, if anything, looking at it from that lens.
Yeah, but it's not as good. It's like it's the B-movie version of that.
Fair enough.
Which actually, there's a very interesting quote by Elizabeth Debicki's character, because she's the director of the first Puritan, who's also directing the Puritan 2. She says, we're making a B-movie with A ideas. Now...
That doesn't help.
that stuck with me, though, because it's like, oh, that's what this is definitely going for, I just don't know what those ideas are.
Yeah.
Ergo, I don't think it's that good.
I feel like if you're trying to make a B movie with A ideas, it wouldn't even make more sense to make an A movie at that point.
No, it's entirely possible to make a movie with big ideas and thematic resonance and intense visual symbolism and what have you, but the production value isn't great. And maybe the acting's not necessarily the best, or maybe it's very over the top, but you could definitely make a B movie with A ideas. I can think of plenty of them.
Fair enough.
I don't think this is that. But I feel like that's what it's trying to be, because it's right there in that statement.
Fair enough.
So, honestly, it was kind of all over the place, and even with these notes, I'm kind of forgetting how things went in order.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Yeah, I will say, Mia Goth, usually an actress known for being very good at chewing the scenery and going over the top, not so much here, and I do feel like it's intentional. I feel like a lot of it's maybe a result of the trauma from going through the events of X, because she does flash back to it on occasion, but it also makes for a less entertaining experience, marginally, so that's not great.
Okay.
Especially not because you got Bobby Cannavale chewing the fucking scenery. What's his name? Paxton from Ant-Man, the new stepdad.
Right, yeah.
No, he's really chewing it up in his scenes. It's pretty funny. Oh yeah, Michelle Monaghan's in this too. That's neat.
Okay, alrighty.
Kevin Bacon's a really good sleazy private investigator.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who keeps blackmailing her with the fact that he knows about what went down in, I want to say, Texas is where X happened.
Texas!
Yep, Giancarlo Esposito is her agent.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but it's one of those things where it's like, given what the movie is and all that, what I take it that to mean is that he plays a very well-acted but intimidating asshole.
Yeah. Well, he's not even necessarily that intimidating. I mean, he gets intimidating near the end, but that's a whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about because things just kind of happen.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know to what end. Because there's a big swerve partway through the movie, but it's also kind of an obvious swerve.
Okay.
Or I guess that it's maybe not an obvious swerve, it's just kind of a... I knew it was going to go in that direction, I just didn't necessarily nail down how, and it's weird. It's a weird thing. But it's definitely not as... It doesn't make me think as much as X, and maybe because a lot of it's less about the industry in general and more about the industry at that time.
Right.
Oh, fun thing though, I will thank this movie because this movie is how I found out that Casey Kasem, the original voice of Shaggy, also used to be a radio personality.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, there was a bit where MaXXXine's driving down the road and I hear a voice talking about like the top 40 or something, and I go, wait a minute, is that Shaggy? Is that Casey Kasem? And I didn't stick around for the credits, but I did look it up, and it was like, oh, what do you mean he used to do this? Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, thinking of Shaggy's voice, and I was like, yeah, I feel like that works. That tracks.
Did I mention this is set in the 80s?
No.
Have I mentioned that at all? Oh, I guess the Night Stalker should, probably...
Yeah, granted, the whole
up,
Night Stalker thing would be the thing that would make it obvious.
Yeah, for those that don't know, this is set in the 80s. I'm sorry if, I'm sorry for not getting to that sooner, but, Let's see, what else do I got? Not a lot. Not a lot. I guess the closest I can find to an overall message is about the never-ending cycle of fame and the pursuit thereof. But I don't necessarily know that... I feel like it ends with that commentary. I don't know that it starts with that commentary, though, you know? Like, there's two disjointed things going on here. No, you know what? Actually, all the way... it is pretty much all the way through. I'll give it that. It's pretty much an all the way through thematic idea.
It just kind of leans more into it in the later half of the movie.
Or maybe it's that it leans more into it in the first half, and I'm just connecting the dots trying to make it work in the second.
I mean, I've watched movies where that happens to me, that's for sure. Where I have the whole thing of, well, wait, if this is what they're going through, then why did they not do this at the beginning of the... Oh.
Also, I feel like this is a thematic message that I key into pretty easily in movies, so I wonder if maybe I'm not reading too deep into it / projecting. As somebody trying to achieve quote-unquote internet fame.
Right.
Huh. Alright. Some pretty good gore effects in here, though.
Oh boy.
You know what, it's probably a spoiler, I'm not gonna go into it, it's not in the trailer.
Fair. But it is gory.
It's gory. You'll see. Well, you won't see, but you'll hear. You'll all hear.
You'll all hear, damn it.
Yeah. Twist not really as interesting as I was expecting. Partly because I don't now understand where Pearl fits into this.
Oh, okay.
Because the whole thing was, Pearl was a prequel to X that was the backstory of the killer old lady named Pearl, who they also had her younger self be played by Mia Goth, same as MaXXXine.
Okay.
But I don't know that where MaXXXine's journey goes. I don't know how Pearl fits into that as a movie.
Like where it all intersects together.
Yeah, it kind of just feels like you don't necessarily need to have seen Pearl, and I don't know that watching Pearl actually adds much.
Fair.
I'll have to watch them again at some point since I have both. Come to think of it, I could do that tonight. Maybe not both, but maybe not, both of them tonight, but...
They're not obnoxiously long movies, as I understand it,
They're not. I could. Maybe. We'll see. I also gotta get some sleep because,
big day tomorrow.
No, I just don't go to MetroCon to sleep, so I didn't get a lot of it.
That's fair.
No, I do currently have this in the top 20 of films that I've seen this year.
Okay.
So, in that instance, I'd say it's worth watching if you're a fan of stylized period slashers, but I'll also say it's in the bottom of my top 20.
Fair enough.
I've actually got it below Abigail, because I feel like the disconnect between the first half and second half shits the bed a little harder than Abigail's third act does.
Right.
Do I like it more than Out of Darkness? I barely even remember Out of Darkness.
Do you see yourself barely remembering MaXXXine?
I mean, I'm already kind of struggling. Where are the notes? Do I have notes for... What movie is this? Max fucking Milquetoast over here. A confluence of circumstances I regard as almost fate-like. Ooh. Oh, is this... Oh, this is Poor Things. Yep.
Oh, dear.
Yep, okay, that's what it was. Can you tell I'm distracted? I did like it. I don't regret seeing it. I'm a little disappointed after X, ultimately.
Would you recommend other people see it?
Yeah, definitely not full price ticket for it, though. Definitely not. Matinee, for sure.
Right.
Oh god, I got to the Driveway Doll notes. When did Out of Darkness even come out? Doesn't matter. Does not matter. I'm talking about MaXXXine. Put the notebook down.
Right.
Damn it. Anyways, if you don't want to get spoiled on MaXXXine, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. So, the twist I thought this was going for, which was that MaXXXine was actually the Night Stalker, doesn't happen.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, instead what happens is, and then what I thought it was eventually was that the Night Stalker was actually her dad, or a bunch of people working for her dad, because her dad's actually a religious... I don't know what he is. He's some kind of high-ranking authority figure, but I don't think he's Vatican high up. I think he's just, probably local church movement high up.
Right, yeah.
So, apparently, they've been staging killings as well to make it look like the work of the Night Stalker, so they can condemn Hollywood. I don't know how the fuck this was supposed to work. It's a stupid fucking plan. But, oh, hey, look, a religious nutbag with a stupid fucking plan. Tautology!
Sounds like the whole thing of people blaming violence from use on video games and whatnot. It's like,
no, it was exactly that! It's the satanic panic!
Yeah, and it's the whole thing of violent people are going to be drawn to those things more, but that doesn't necessarily make them violent. Religion! It's like, oh, okay.
My religion means I get to tell everybody else what to do. It's in the book. You can't tell me what to do. Stop imposing on my religious freedom!
What's this bit about Jesus saying, love thy neighbor, takes a Sharpie to it?
Love thy, scribbles in straight, white, male neighbor.
Yeah.
Then adds, but not in the gay way.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it just puts in a carrot that says no homo.
No, but in reality, all the homophobia is not cool here.
No, yeah.
And if you're into that, well, there's the virtual door.
There's the virtual door.
Anyways, one of the better scenes in MaXXXine, and one of the things that initially made me think maybe she was still gonna be the Night Stalker, was on her way back from one of her jobs. She's trying to walk through an alley only to find out that the gate's been locked, and this guy followed her into the alley, and he's trying to threaten her with something, like he has a knife with him, but then she pulls out a gun.
Okay. I got a gun!
And she makes him strip down, get down on his knees, and suck the gun.
Oh boy.
And then, I don't remember how she does it, but she gets him to lie down on the ground, and she stomps on his fucking nuts in a heeled boot.
The Boondocks intensifies.
And you get a close-up.
Ooh.
It's very uncomfortable. I winced.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no, it was... Oh boy, that stuck with me a little bit. I do wonder what the point of Pearl was, because I assumed that Pearl, being played by Mia Goth in her youth, would serve as foreshadowing to Maxine's desire for fame, leading her down the same destructive, murderous path.
Right.
Just with marginally more success because she actually made it out of her small town and into Hollywood, but... No, apparently not. No, what happens is, she actually manages to lure the private investigator who's fucking with her into a trap, and her agent's actually fully on board with helping her on stuff. He is a shady prick. I love Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
He's like if you took Gus Fring and combined him with Saul Goodman.
Alright.
He's a sleazy, really good agent who's willing to get his hands dirty, because they trap the private detective in his car in a junkyard and bring down one of those fucking, compactors on it.
Oh.
And they crush him to death.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, he's totally on board with it, too.
Mm.
It's a real G. There's a whole bit of Maxine refusing to work with the detectives who are trying to look into these killings because people around her keep dropping like flies.
Okay.
But she's finally motivated to help out when the lead actress in the first Puritan gives her some advice and then goes, yeah, we girls gotta stick together, and then she goes missing because Maxine connects the dots that most of the people who are dying after they said they were going to some big party up in the hills.
Okay.
So, it turns out all these people have been being lured into being killed by Maxine's dad and his crazy church, so they can pin it on Hollywood, and again, I don't know how this stupid plan was supposed to fucking work, but... She gets kidnapped, she gets tied up, the detectives show up, shootout ensues right around the Hollywood sign.
Okay.
Maxine's dad is wounded, she takes a shotgun, blasts him in the head, she gets famous for it, and also...
She gets famous for murdering her dad violently.
And her movie career ends up taking off, and there's a bit at the end where they ask her about what she wants to do now that she's so renowned. She goes, I just never want it to end, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is it. This is the thrill-seeking junkie effect of fame, I just wanted to keep it going, even though this has mostly been fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's like, has an interview, it's like, so when did this take off for you initially? It's like, well, when it all started when I Dick Cheney'd my dad.
Yep. Now, Ty West has apparently said he's open to making a fourth movie, so maybe in that movie she ends up going down the road I expected, but it still feels like a weird... Right now, Pearl just feels like the outlier in this trilogy.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's a problem, I'm just saying it's weird. It's a little weird. Oh, there's also a real irony in the fact that while Maxine is trying to work on this new movie, occasionally people will tell her they're a fan of her work. In this case, her work being in adult films. So there's a really interesting irony in that she's already famous, just not the kind of famous she wants to be.
Yeah, right.
So that was neat. No, I mean, everybody does a good job acting-wise. Even Mia Goth doesn't really get the chance to get off the leash and just go absolutely fucking batshit, but she's doing a good job for the job that she's doing.
Right.
And I mean, to be fair, just because I know she's really good at scenery-chewing craziness and being completely volatile and batshit, certainly doesn't mean that's all she should ever do.
Yeah.
Some of the best performances are absolute surprises that you wouldn't expect from an actor reaching outside of their usual stuff, so, hey, not a huge deal. It's just kind of weird in this kind of movie, you know?
Right, yeah.
But ultimately, not bad. Most of the characters aren't really given much of a chance to develop, though. And that really kind of hurts it.
Outside of Mia Goth and a couple other people, most of the people who show up are just there to be there, basically.
Yeah. They're all very much side characters in this, which is, I guess makes sense. The movie is called MaXXXine with 3 X's, so that kind of emphasizes that, you know, it's her movie, I guess, and also that it's triple X, but...
Right.
God, you remember The Man Called Flintstone?
No.
That was a movie. I think there was an Agent Triple X in there, or maybe it was just Agent X. It was like an actual theatrical Flintstone movie where Fred got roped into being a spy because he happens to bear an uncanny resemblance to an actual spy who got knocked out in the course of duty or something. And then the agent who's supposed to be helping him is actually secretly the bad guy, and I don't know why I remember all this because I haven't seen that movie in goddamn years, but...
This is not related to, like, the live...
No relation... No, it was a theatrical animated movie in, like, the 60s?
Because it's like, wait, well, I remember seeing the live-action Flintstones movie when I was a kid.
No, nothing to do with that. It was...
Okay.
It was, like, actual Flintstones.
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter. Not important.
Well, now I want to watch this movie.
Yeah, me too, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Maybe I need to get Boomerang back.
Wait, does Boomerang still exist?
There's a streaming service, or at least there was.
No kidding.
Wouldn't surprise me if they wrote it off for taxes at this point. That's not important! The underlying point if me dragging on like this hasn't clued you in is, yeah, this is fine. I'll probably forget a lot about it in upcoming weeks, which is really a shame, because I was very much looking forward to it. So in that sense, it's definitely a lesser A24 distributed movie.
Okay.
In fact, dare I say, maybe one of the worst ones I've seen.
Okay, fair.
But I mean, it's kind of like how Thor: The Dark World used to be my least favorite Marvel movie, because for as much as I go, oh, that was a bad one, it's really not.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that, honestly.
Well, I mean, you know, everything's the worst until something worse comes along, you know?
Fair.
And with Secret Invasion, it's like, oh, right, Thor: The Dark World was really only bad by MCU standards. Whoops.
Right. Well, no, I figured it'd be one of those things where it's like, you would just say, no, it's still a bad movie, not as bad as Love and Thunder, and just keep it at that.
No, it really is one of those things where, because I didn't like the first Thor that much the first couple times I saw it, and then I went, oh, no, wait, actually, this is really... Having watched all the other ensuing Thor movies, I realized this is closer to what Thor should be than, like, any of them, so...
I will say, I don't see this happening, but it would be extremely funny if we rewatched Love and Thunder, like, in a couple years down the line, you're just like, oh crap, it's actually not that bad.
I'd sooner gouge my fucking eyes out.
Yeah, it's like, I don't see that happening, because I think even both of us were in agreement on, yeah, this movie's not really good.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'll rewatch it with the caveat that I fast forward through every scene where you can't see Natalie Portman's guns. Cause god fucking damn.
Right.
Okay, you know what? Scratch that. Every scene Natalie Portman isn't in, because she actually knocks it out of the park in general.
Right, yeah.
Maybe every scene that she's not in, and every scene where she's not the main focus, because if I have to listen through Chris Hemsworth jarring through that, What am I doing? This is supposed to be about MaXXXine.
Oh, I thought we finished MaXXXine.
Kind of, I guess. End result, still the same. I think it's worth seeing, it's just...
Not a full-price movie worth.
Definitely not. It's not the best in its trilogy. I think it might honestly be the worst in its trilogy. I'd have to finish Pearl to know for sure, but I definitely liked where Pearl was going until I had to shut it off more than I like this.
Right.
But it's still fine. It's just fine. That's why it's in, like, I've seen 40-something movies this year. This is number 19 so far. So, you know, still in the top half. Just near the bottom. It's gonna happen. And I think that about wraps it up for tonight. / this week. Next week, it looks like we got a couple different options, and I'm surprised at how torn I am here.
Okay.
Because one of the movies is Longlegs.
Okay.
The one with Nicolas Cage in it, where none of the trailers have shown us Nicolas Cage.
Right.
So I'm very intrigued, because those trailers definitely look good, to the point where I was already enthused, because I kept forgetting that Nicolas Cage was even in them, and now it's just like, oh, well now I have to.
Right.
And then on the flip side, you've got Fly Me to the Moon with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum.
Oh, that's right. Ooh. Yeah.
Right?
I am joining you in being pretty conflicted on what to watch there.
This is surprisingly close. I am going to do my damnedest to watch both, I think. We'll see how that goes.
You know, I normally don't, but if I have time to, I will attempt to watch both.
Cool. We'll work it out. Anyways, thanks so much for listening, everybody. I already did the spiel a couple of times, so yeah, but make sure to share the video around if you like it, because it really does help us out.
Right.
And until next week, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!